Okay, so let's head out then. Once we're all equipped and ready to go, I think we'll head west of the city along the shore of Crystal Lake, and then plan will be to try to make it to the bridge or over the bridge. And they said it was like what, half a day to reach Rushing Falls. Is that correct?
About a day.
About a day. Okay, so I'm guessing we'll try to cover as much of the day as we can with the daylight we have, and then we'll have to decide if camp is necessary.
Yep.
Okay. So you head west out of town and follow the path. Everything's pretty quiet, and thank goodness it's a nice day. The mud on the trail has seemed to have dried out a little bit after the storm of a couple of days ago. A few hours into the trip, it's probably early afternoon. Yeah, a little afternoon. You come to the stone bridge over the Rushing. It's obviously been here a very long time. And let's see. I'll give you a little visual of the rushing river. So pretty.
Right.
It gets fairly wide fairly quickly after it leaves Crystal Lake. Shortly after you cross the bridge, the path turns north, and there is a point where it turns. You can see that at one point there was a path that turned to the west from here, but even if the path north doesn't look well used, the one turning west looks very uncommonly used. You can see that there is a trail there, but obviously nobody's really used it regularly in a long time.
Right. Presumably that's the path that the dwarf guy wants to kind of carve out.
Yeah, that's the one that goes down to the other town.
All since we're, I'll actually go ahead and finish this description. But before we move on, I want to try to do something.
Go ahead.
I would probably turn to Logan at some point when we identify the path. Perhaps you should. I kind of nod towards the path. See if you can find any signs of passage. Maybe the lost company went that way.
Agreed.
We can wait here at the edge of the bridge, or just past the beginning of the trail. And well, actually, what time of day would it be at this point, Dor?
It's maybe 2 o'clock, something like that.
So we still have plenty of daylight, so we'll break here for the time and just rest while you go scout ahead. I'll turn to the rest of the company. Logan's gonna look for signs of the other party's passage on the trail here that's rarely used. Guessing that if they wanted to head west and secure the area, this is where they would have parted ways. So we can rest here for a moment while he inspects the area.
Run a perception check as I kind of scout around, look for any trails leading to the west.
Okay. The trail is definitely uncommonly used. Like, you can feel old wagon ruts under your feet, and basically it's not that there's no trees in the path, it's just that they're small trees, right? Like, somebody at one point cut all the brush and the trees out of this path, but over time, it's starting to fill back in. But you can still sort of make out the pathway through. You don't find any explicit signs. Hard to tell if anyone's been through recently.
Okay. I'm gonna stealth down the trail a ways and see if I can kind of move in a little past the fork area and see if I can pick up on anything.
Okay. Roll perception for me one more time. Okay. About 10 or 15 feet down the fork, as you follow the path, there's a large stone placed at the side of the road. And on it is an old carving. Like somebody has chiseled into the stone. It's hard to make out, but it looks vaguely like a crude dragon shape. And there's an X underneath it, carved into the stone.
There's an X underneath it?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I will make my way back to the party and tell them what I've found. Doesn't seem to be any recent tracks that I can glean out of the trail, but there's a stone with a dragon carved on it with an X underneath it on the side of the road.
Maps its directions to, or a warning to the previous inhabitants of the Vale, the dragon's lair. Something to take note of, but probably not from the company, especially if it was old.
Yeah, very old. I don't think they would take the time to stop and carve anything on the side of the road that wasn't a trailhead marker or directions to which way they went. But I can see nothing of our friends.
I'll make a note to inspect it on the way back. Perhaps there's some dwarvish script to it that I can identify. Continue on for now, I think, and I'll start to break camp or break rest or a short rest, I guess. Sling my backpack on my back, grab my sword, shield, secure my two-hander on my back. So many things, so much weight. Just kind of heft it all up and look to make sure everybody else is ready before I start heading on the beaten path north.
Got all my stuff and I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready to roll.
This is probably actually not a bad time to take 10. Does that work for everybody?
Yep, that works.
Sure.
Oh, that works.
Cool. So
Somebody running a drill press in the background.
I'm afraid that would be my power supply.
Your power supply. Okay.
that's not a good power supply sound.
Is it the fan rubbing or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. 1140.
Sounds good to me.
Back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm back as well.
Oh, I think that's everybody. Okay. Very cool. All right. So, sounds like we're continuing on from the crossroads heading north.
Yes, indeed.
How are you guys traveling? Are you trying to move as fast as possible, or are you trying to be like stealthy and sort of cautious in your movement, or somewhere in between?
I feel like, and you guys correct me if you're wrong or want to do something different, but I feel like we'd be like traveling like travelers at this point. Like there isn't, we know there's a sickness, right? And there's a chance like an animal or a person could attack us, but like, you know, they're pretty noisy. I think we'd hear them coming. So I would just be on the trail traveling, mostly holding my equipment.
Yeah.
Not like ready for combat imminently, you know. Efficiency.
Yeah, I would say just moving efficiently. Time is of the essence. We need to make some headway.
Okay, so not a like super fast, short, like forced march, and not a creepy, crawly, stealthy pace, but just normally trying to get where you're going as quickly as is reasonable.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So the forest is relatively thick in this area. It's clear that there's really nobody nearby that's been thinning out the forest here for lumber or anything like that. The path is clear. The path is obviously used, although it's clear of brush and there's definitely been traffic, but it's not. It's not civilized, you know what I mean? It's not paved or anything. It's just like a path through the forest. The weather is good and it stays good all day. About the time it starts to get on to twilight, we'll say it's, in the neighborhood of 6 or 7 p.m. when it starts to get dark. You are approximately at the point where the boys said that they stopped. Similar place. So if you look at the sort of the western edge of the lake and where the stream heads out north of it, you're fairly close to that point. The path actually curves to follow the shore of the lake, and you're not quite to where that inlet is from Rushing Falls, but you're close-ish when it starts to get dark.
Do we want to camp or do we want to keep moving through the night? We'll put me in the front and Fitz in the back. Everybody here has night vision, so
It feels like we should camp, honestly. Yeah, I'll say out loud. We should
the bard's
stay
out of
camp.
magic.
Yeah, set up camp for the evening. No need to stumble through the darkness into a bear's den or something more foul. We don't know this land well. Chinda Logan, if you want, you can secure the area and travel around and see if you spot any danger. I'll try to forge an area here for us to set up our beds.
I think it's best we stick together.
Is there a Or can I roll to see if there's like a previous campsite? Because the Smiths boys were here. Maybe they like have a fire pit already or some spot that like is kind of ideal to set up. If not, I'll just find something.
Survival.
That's not the tower, sorry.
That's fine. No sign of any clear campsite that's already been here. But there's a relatively sheltered area in some trees, just not too far off the path, that would probably do.
Okay, I'll kind of motion that area. Seems like a good spot. I'm gonna schluck my backpack off and my bedroll and kind of set up an area.
Flat ground, not too many rocks, not too many roots.
I suggest we avoid a fire unless we absolutely think it's necessary.
Roll a nature check to check on the weather, make sure we're not going to freeze to death.
It's still early spring, so the nights are likely to be cold, but not like bone-chilling cold, just like this sucks to sleep in cold.
Okay. Yeah, the weather should be good enough. We can make do without a fire for now.
Is there a chance we risk exhaustion without a fire door?
No, not unless it ends up like snowing in the night or free. You know what I mean? Not unless it gets really
not that cold.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Who should take first watch?
I'll take first watch.
I'll take second. Wake me when you're done. I think that's all. I think we only need to do 2 watches to kind of sleep for the night and make sure everybody gets rested.
So Logan can theoretically watch 4 hours. Meaning you'd need 2 other people to cover 2-hour watches.
I'll take the third watch.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Then everybody gets a long rest.
Once we have the alert spell, we can just leave that to watch.
Yep.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to do before bed? Or are we just resting?
Yeah, we just rest.
Yep.
Okay. Late in your watch, Wappa, you start to hear wolves. Far off, not close, but you can hear the wolves the boys spoke of howling.
Interesting.
It sounds like they're off to the north.
I stay very still.
They never come close, as far as you can tell. They're a good ways off. And after a while, it quiets down. Well, nothing else disturbs the night. It is a cold night, but it's clear, no rain. The morning comes, fits in your watch, and it's overcast again in the morning, but nothing to speak of to disturb your sleep. All in all, the night passed uneventfully.
Right. The threat of wolves. Do you like wake us up, Fitz, or do we just wake up
Yeah.
naturally? Okay.
As the sun's coming up, I start to arouse the camp.
Yeah, I'll settle and kind of grunt and roll on my bedroll and pack my things up. We should try to make for the town north today if we can. What's it called? God, I already forgot its name. I'm so terrible at names. Is it Rushing Falls?
Yep.
Yeah.
Torgrim stretches and grunts and packs up his things. He says, I swear no matter which way I lay, there's a root under me.
Such as the burdens of the road, my friend. Kind of pound out my pipe and fill it with some fresh tobacco weed and smoke for this next walk.
I hear Torgrim's complaint as I'm rolling up my bedroll, and then I've heard of this wondrous thing called a folding campsite. We might consider investing in. Should we survive any perils ahead?
Okay.
I think we'll just set out.
Yep.
Try to make
Get
as
moving.
much as we can.
All right. So the path follows the shore of the river until the stream coming down from the north meets it. When you get there, the path turns up, and you can see that actually the path now starts leading uphill. This is a fairly good-sized mountain that you're going to be climbing for most of the day to get where you're going. It's fairly steep. But the whole time, the path hugs this stream, or this little canyon, with water coming down off the mountain.
Very serene, huh?
Yeah. This time of year, there's a lot of water coming down. But the path stays on the side of the canyon and leads up the hill. It is probably... The overcast never burns off for the day, and the woods stay thick, so it's a little bit dreary. You don't see any sign of any wildlife. No game, no sounds of anything. It's like there's nothing else here.
Did you say we're still near the stream?
Yeah, the path to Rushing Falls follows this canyon with the stream in it pretty closely. Up the river. And
Can I do
Up the
an
mountain.
investigation check just to look at the water and see if it's discolored or there's anything seemingly weird in it?
Yep.
I doubled it, didn't mean to.
Yep, no, that's fine. So it looks much like the lake. Nothing obviously wrong that you can tell, but it's dark. As you climb up the mountain, there's several points where other little streams are feeding into it. And it narrows a little bit the farther up you go.
But it's always a little dark. Darker
It's always a
than
little dark.
than it seems like it should be.
Hard to say. It's certainly not crystal clear. But could be just sediment.